I don't know what people watching this will think. My advice is stay away from that. You can experiment. Chances are that 90% of the time it will fail. Between my mom and my dad, if there's somebody I want to set up in a business, I know who I'll send that money to. You see? Do you always get demands from people back home, whether friends or family, who are always making demands of money from you? Do you feel that you tend to spend your money on other people even before spending on yourself? Or do you feel guilt tripped to always send money home? Well, this is the idea of black tax, where people who live in the diaspora, particularly black people, but of course among other ethnicities also, feel overburdened by the demands from relatives and friends back home. In today's conversation, I want us to look at how we can actually, continue to support our friends and family back home in a way that is sustainable and doesn't mar relationships. What are some of the principles that we can use to guide how much we actually help people in a way that is very sustainable? To help us with this conversation is somebody who is not new to this channel and a very personal friend, in the person of Nanel Griselda. Nanel, welcome to Diaspora Careers and Investments. And
Hi. It's
hi,
exciting
hi.
to be here again. I'm happy, 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 happy to be here again. Yay.
Yeah, it's always exciting to speak to you on, on these topics because I know, you find yourself in, similar positions. I think recently I even gave you a task to, to help, a mutual friend of ours who needed some form of help. So you would resonate with this. And it's a conversation around black tax. What is it and what has been your experience?
So like earlier on explained, I think it's a black tax because it's, more common among the black community where Africans and then like you said, some other ethnicities back home feel like they need, to be supported by family or friends who are in this part of the world, Western world. And it's like a cultural expectation, it's like the norm. It's
Mm.
like you're obligated to send some money because you're in this part of the world. So that is the black tax. And like I said, it can be the topic and the word black tax even stresses me. Like now I'm even stressed. Like even before we start the conversation, hi, it's a lot. Yeah.
Is it always a bad thing?
Well, I don't think it's all bad, but I think there has to be a balance.
When is it good, and when can it be bad?
Too much of everything is bad. When it
Mm.
becomes too much, so that you yourself, you're not able to take good care of yourself where you are, and family members and friends are heavily dependent on you. You are struggling where you are. You cannot do anything for yourself. That in that way it becomes bad. But there's nothing wrong. We know with where we are from. There's nothing wrong with helping family members and helping. At a point, probably you were helped as well. Before
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
relocated. So it's only nice or it's morally right that
Mm.
you help. But like I said, there should be a balance.
Yeah, so I think that was the real question, that why do black people get this black tag? And I think that's what you rightly say, that we are a community, we growing up, maybe your grandmother or your uncle supported your education with the hope that when you are, well placed in society, you can also tend to help other people, but of course we know that sometimes it can get excessive, and
Mm.
sometimes people, especially those in the diaspora, and of course, it's not only restricted to people in the diaspora. People back home also tend to pay black tax if you are a bit well-to-do. You support your mother, you support your, father, you support your
But it's very
nieces, and
yeah.
all of that. Yeah,
But it's more common if you travel. And then the thing that
absolutely,
they
absolutely.
forget, the thing that most of our family members forget is that we are not as well to do as it may seem. I
Yeah,
mean, the car I'm driving, it's not fully paid. The
yeah,
house I'm in, I still have 20 plus years to finish paying.
yeah,
I mean, the iPhone I'm using, I just finished paying. Like,
yeah,
we are living in debt and they
yeah,
think it's all good, but it's
yeah,
really not. And then they feel like you have to.
yeah,
That's when it becomes a problem. They feel like you have
yeah,
to. And it's really sad because if you are in Ghana right now, if you're in Africa, anywhere in Africa, and then you've been able to take your child or your ward to the university, most likely it was fully paid.
yeah,
However, that's your friend that you feel should pay your daughter's school fees for. You must pay. Her
mm,
children are going to school in the UK, in the university on student loan,
yeah,
and their child is indebted to pay. And mom has been paying the fees of most of her friends in Ghana, their daughters,
yeah,
and their
yeah,
from decades ago.
yeah,
Recently, my little sister in the US was going to school, and it was a struggle. And then I thought about it, I'm like, this is not fair.
Mm.
My sister is on student loans and the
Mm.
amount she has to pay. And then what I even discovered that was really sad was the fact that the interest starts accumulating from the day you took it.
Yeah.
It's not like she has to finish school and get a good job before they start charging interest. The money,
Mm.
and look at US tuition fees, huge.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, people back home have been depending on my mom for their award school fees, which she has been sending. And it's sad that her daughter has to go to school in debt many years later.
But don't you think that sometimes, like this black tax is sometimes self-imposed? It is self-inflicted. That sometimes the life we portray out there, suggests that we are well to do so much that now people begin to make demands.
I mean, for somebody like me, I can say that I invite because
Mm.
let's say my husband and I just bought our house and then I did the whole house tour. I
Mm.
mean, somebody back home like, hey, they bought a house abroad. Hey, they must be rich. This person goes on Google and checks how much houses cost in the UK, and the person is seeing houses in London, 800,000. Hey, God, this girl is now. When they don't know it's only 10% we put, So for somebody like me, but for someone like my mother, what has she done to invite those things? It's just the cultural expectations and then the norm. And then you feel like you are obligated to do so. And then I mean, there was a time that I was speaking with someone I know, let me say, in Ghana. And then at a point, this person was, in debt, like serious debt. And this person was really struggling financially. And, sometimes will ask me for money and I'll send. So several months later, this person was telling me, Nanel, remember the night I asked you for this amount? That day I was about to kill myself and my kids. I wanted us to drown in the bath because of this person was owing several people, could not go out, could not even, the husband had lost the job, and like it was a huge, and I knew this person was struggling financially, but I didn't know it was that bad to the extent that this person was about to kill herself and her newborn baby.
Wow.
And this is several months later when she was out of that. Then it gets me thinking, so what is £50? If I had sent £50, that could have taken care of them for, let's say, 3 more weeks. So what would have happened if this person had gone ahead and I did not give that amount of money? So you see all these things. I mean, I was giving before, but after that thing that she shared, now I even give more.
Mm.
You understand? Because you actually do not know what the person is really going through. And we know that back home, it's not like here where if you are sick and you don't have money, you will die.
Mm.
It's not like here where you can go and then the NHS will take care of you. Or even in the US, you can go and then later you'll be asked to pay in installments or whatever. But back home, you will die. And then you think about it. So I think it's one of those guilty feelings and all that that maybe you can just support with £100.
So let's look at it this way. How can we tell, genuine causes as this from those who simply feel, Nanel is well to do abroad, which is true, but
Please, it's a big lie. Don't be
yeah,
deceived.
who feel, oh, I should just ask Nanel for money, because there are some people who are begpreneurs, they are entrepreneurs in begging. They'll find a nice story, recently they'll tell you, my gas is finished, or I need an Uber to church, because some people know that I'm a church leader. So they'll ask me, oh, Sherlock, I need, an Uber to church. Can you pay for my Uber? I'm like, mate, what stops you from, getting a Trotsky, a bus? Or if you stay, I'll send you the link to my church online. Join our church online and stay home. So point is, how do you tell the real ones from the fake ones?
I don't think there's a way to figure out that this person is lying or this person is true. Like this person like this who nearly committed suicide, this is a person who's always asking for money. Who is always asking for money. So I could have taken that particular night where she said she was about to commit suicide as one of the many times she's always asked for money. But this one was quite different. I think, but I would say as a Christian, like you advised me the last time, the only thing is that you pray to God to be able to discern. But me, I would do my best. Like Shadrach, I can say that even from January till we are not even in March yet, as at this time that we are filming this video, I have received not less than 10 requests to help people back home financially. There was a time that I had COVID, my husband had COVID, my baby had COVID. We were all home. And both my husband's job and my job are not jobs where you can go on sick leave and then you'll be paid. So let's say I was in isolation for 2 weeks. My husband was in isolation for 2 weeks. That's 1 month's money gone. Yes, that was the time where people were asking for money for whatever. People were demanding for mobile phones and stuff.
Yeah.
And they have no idea what you're going through. And
Yeah.
then when you do not send it, they get angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the sad part is you think you're the only one asking me and I'm not being able to fulfill your request. However, remember that several other people know me as well, and they're all bringing their own requests. I think that as a person in the diaspora, you have to be firm enough, and then you also have to know what you personally want to achieve. And then you state it down. And then, like, so for me personally, like, this is what I have done. Let's say I know that as for my nursing income, there's nothing to write home about. In fact, I cannot even take care of my own bills and my nursing income. So what I've done, I put in my mind is that God being so good, YouTube is doing well. YouTube pays monthly. There are 12 months in a year. 1 month salary on my YouTube is dedicated to giving. That's what. So in my mind, I make only 11 months money, income or whatever from YouTube. So that is what I have put in mind. And I try as much as possible that usually end of the year, I do my giving like massive. So there are people who are not even expecting, they've not asked for money. I was, oh, how are your kids? You know, I haven't been a good auntie. Oh, take this, give me your Momo number.
You've never asked for my mobile money number.
Excuse you? You know you are it.
No, we need help. We
And
need
then I'll
help.
people back home. And then there are people that are actually waiting because they know that it's December and Anel is going to send something, you know. So that is what I have done. In December, I try to sort people out. Cousins, uncles, aunties, nieces. I try to do a bit. You can save it and use it in time of need. However, in the course of the year, when it is not part of my budget, I have people that I send money to monthly, people that I'm assisting with their tuition fees that I send money to monthly. But even those people, I have told them my financial situation. Like this nephew of mine that I was saying that I've not even seen before, but I'm assisting through private nursing school, private university nursing. This somebody I never knew when I was back in Ghana. I make them aware. See, I do not have money lying there to pay huge, private university nursing in Ghana to pay this amount of money. However, this is the plan. Every single month, I'm going to give you this amount of money. What I did with this person, this particular nephew I'm talking about, is say, this is what I want you to do. Go create a bank account. Use my email as the email, right? And then send me the details. I have downloaded the app. When I get money, I send money with Lemfi. I put it in the account. Immediately, I see an email in my account that I have deposited because it's like I have the money as well. And my aim is that every month I'm putting this amount in every month so that by the 6th month, we probably have the semester's fees or the year fees. It will be easy for me to spend £50 every single month than ask me to send £400 at a go. So these are some of the things that I put in place to do. When you come to tell me that, let's say recently a friend was going to have surgery, this person said she doesn't have money for surgery. And this person has never asked me money before in all the years that I've been here. And this is somebody that when I was young, like back when I was away, she used to do me very, very well. She was like a big sister, she'd buy me clothes and all that. And now she's in this kind of position. So I was like, nah, like this is not somebody who's begged. Let me help. But then she told me the full amount of the surgery, and I said, honestly, I do not have it. So I gave her like say 65 or 70%. I said, honest, I'm praying that you get help from other places and then you add. And I'm praying that the surgery goes well. And then I did. Sometimes these things are not budgeted for. But when I cast my mind back to that issue where this lady told me she nearly committed suicide that night and killed herself and her baby, it really touches me. I also decided to do is there are people that I send money monthly that I know that, okay, aside the tuition one, the one in the university, okay, I have, let's say, extra £50 that I'm putting aside for these things as well. Sometimes nobody even comes to us. Sometimes somebody asks, and then I know that is there. I have my goals, my own goals. My family, we have our own goals that we want to achieve. These things should not sway me from doing that. I don't want my child to get to the university and will be on loans and indebted.
I think you've said quite a lot of principles in there, and I'll try to condense them. I guess, if you're a person of faith, to pray for discernment, because what you don't want to do or to know is that, somebody died because of, you withheld kindness. So it's one of my prayers, that God should, direct me to hear the cries that he wants me to respond to. But apart from that, to have a budget, every month to know that this fraction of my money goes towards helping other people. I mean, and be sincere, to yourself that this is what I can afford. And of course, if in a month you don't use it, you can carry it forward to the following month and then do more when the need arise. But of course, not because necessarily you've got a budget. Whoever comes to you, just throw it away, like that. But to based on your budget and be sincere to yourself what you can afford and not. And even for family, like you rightly say with your nephew, to have that honest conversation that, mate, this is what I can afford and this is what I cannot afford. So, you have that agreement that as far as I have life and got a job, I'll support you, I'll keep my promise. But beyond this, I could not help. I think one of my own friends, asked me to help them to, go to, buy university for them because they wanted to go to university. I was clear from day one that, mate, I'm happy to help you with this, university forms. But I hope we will not have the conversation that, oh, Shadrach, I've now got the admission and I need to pay. Of course, I was clear from the day one that God helps us in different ways. Help may come. So I will not be the reason why you didn't go to university, but I wouldn't. This is not a bill I can take on my budget at the moment. So I know what I can afford and what I cannot afford. And I think sometimes diasporans are to be blamed also. Somebody will be doing their own thing, and then all of a sudden you want them to go to university or you want them to help them in some way. You need to assess what you can afford. I think it was Pastor Femi Lazarus who said, whoever tries to be El Shaddai shall die. If you try to solve everybody's, I mean, if you try to be El Shaddai to everyone, try to solve everyone's problems, you will die. So I think it's the idea that take on what responsibilities you can. If it means, of course, if you can help your whole community to go to university, so be it, and God will bless you. But if you cannot afford, then you have to have that honest conversation. And I think in the beginning, you said something also important that you want to be financially stable yourself. You see, I think the airplane scenario, if you're in an aeroplane and, when they are announcing, what do they say? That when the pressure of oxygen drops, make sure you fix your own oxygen mask before helping other people.
Yeah.
So that's the same idea with your finances. You don't want to, help to the point that you are impoverished and now you need help. You first want to be a bit stable so that you can help other people. How do you determine how much to support your family each month? How do you determine that apart from your budget? Because I've spoken to many people who say, oh, Shadrach, I send, £400 every month home. And I'm like, well, that's very generous of you, but, I guess it's one of the
Wow.
reasons why we are having this, and not because they are comfortable, no, they are struggling. And they seem not to understand that it is because they are sending so much money home each month to support whether their relatives. So I guess I can answer this as well. In my last video, I shared a budgeting tool with several people, and that is one way you can know what you can afford and what you cannot afford. And some people come to almost that eureka realization that, oh, Shadrach, it seems I'm sending too much money back home. It seems I can reduce that bit a bit, And I've asked, you're sending £400 home every month. What does your mom do? Does she need all of that money really per month? So this principle is what I used to guide me. I trained fundamentally as a nurse, and I thank God that I'm here, where I have, a fairly better paying job. So I asked myself that if I was a nurse in Ghana, how much would I be earning? How much do my colleague nurses in Ghana earn? And how much would I have supported my mom or my parents with it? That is what guides me. So my mom, I'm not going to pay my mom more than, a nurse in Ghana earns. So that if I was a nurse in Ghana, it would be my salary that I'll give you, part of. The fact that I'm here means I'm better off, I understand. But at most, I'm guided by, I'll put you on a salary if I can afford. So I'm guided by that. So I remember I spoke to this, Zimbabwean nurse, and then she sent, about £300 home every day, every month. And then I asked her that, you earning as a nurse in Zimbabwe was like under $100. So when you were in Zimbabwe helping your mother, you were giving her under $100 a month, and she was fine. And all of a sudden, you come to the UK and you're sending her £300 a month.
£300.
I mean, why do you have to do it? It was like, now I see. So I think these are some of the principles that I use personally that other people can also adopt. And I guess our viewers can let us know in the comment section, what are the principles that actually guide you in determining, how much to send to your, your parents or even your siblings or other responsibilities?
I think that's really, really good. That's really, really
Mm,
good. And I also say that you know the financial situation back home
mm,
before you came.
mm.
So you know the things that you guys were struggling with.
Exactly.
You know very well. And then so you can, and by God's grace, when we send money here, a little goes a long way,
Yeah.
right? By God's grace. So
Mm.
you have to sit down and then see, because no matter the amounts that you, and sometimes our family back home, they can really abuse us. Honestly, yes, because yes, I know people who say my daughter is abroad, so I
Yeah.
cannot be
Yeah.
seen wearing
Yeah.
this clothes to
Yeah.
church every day, and it's not fair.
Yeah.
That's why we also have to sit down and explain this to our parents, and
Oh
then
yes. Oh yes. In
we
fact,
need to.
let me interject there. See, one of the reasons why I think sometimes diasporans bring this upon ourselves is that somebody comes to the UK and all of a sudden they want to move, their father or their parents from the house they've lived for the past 20 years, and now all of a sudden want to rent a place in a luxurious area for them. I feel that is not sustainable. Of course, if it's a dire situation and that's your priority, then so be it. If it's a cause you are committed to, then that's fine, you see. But I am particularly guided by the lifestyle of my parents. I mean, I told my mom that, Mom, I'm not the one going to buy you, a land or something or whatever. What the money I send you every month, I don't expect you to save. I mean, you can choose to save you with it. That's not my problem. As far as the Lord grants me life and health, I can promise you this, that what you eat every month, you will get. As to the new land you want to buy, as to the I am not interested. That's not a conversation I want to have with you. I expect you to spend all of the money. And I want her that, of course, your life will be better because your son is abroad, but not beyond a certain point. I wish I could help you achieve your childhood dreams of driving a Mercedes, a white smiling Mercedes Benz. But mom, sorry, I cannot afford that. What I can do is to at least maintain this lifestyle for you and even upgrade it a bit. So that I think the point I'm making here is this, that we should be guided that the fact that you are abroad does not necessarily mean that all of a sudden your mom lives, I don't know, Colegon or, somewhere, in a suburb in Accra and now lives, in the rich areas. You want to maintain the lifestyle. Don't push them in a place where they will then tend to depend so much on you or begin to struggle.
I know friends who,
Mm,
let's say, they knew the situation back home, right? And then they
mm,
knew how bad it was. And
mm,
then now they've been blessed.
mm,
One gentleman I know that, and the mother used to sell by the roadside,
mm,
snacks, right?
mm,
So from what I heard, when he got here, soon after Oski and everything, he established like a grocery, like a provision shop
yeah,
for the
yeah,
mother.
yeah.
You know, you know the situation back home, and you know how you can make it better. But I know my own friend as well who opened a shop for their mother, selling all these disposables for parties and all that. And then the agreement was that after I do this for you, I'm not going to send you money every month. I'll focus
Mm,
on other things.
mm.
So you know the situation. Some people live in very, very terrible places.
Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah,
that, if you have to rent a much better place, but don't go extreme.
yeah,
Immediately you go extreme, now it's like you set the bar. Now
yeah,
they think you have a lot of money. So
yeah.
now you cannot go down. Let it be gradual.
No. I've actually got a different position on the store aspect. And I like the example of your friend whose mom used to sell by the roadside and now, has a container and she can sell in it. I can see a lot of wisdom in that and how it would work. Yet I know other people, several people, whose parents have not sold, orange in their life. And all of a sudden they come abroad and now they want to, set their mom up in a business and all of that. See, I don't know what people watching this will think. My advice is stay away from that. You can experiment. Chances are that 90% of the time it will fail. Between my mom and my dad, if there's somebody I want to set up in a business, I know who I'll send that money to. You see, I know who I'll send the money to. In fact, I'll be blunt. For my dad, we are not even having the conversation that, set up a business. No. I will send you your monthly money to spend. Because, no, if somebody has not run a business before, what makes you think that sending them £5,000 to set them up will succeed? This person has lived their life for 58 years, have not sold anything and be successful at it. And all of a sudden, you think that you will say, what are you going to do differently that they have not done? You see, oftentimes business with relatives don't go well. And sometimes if you're not careful, it will mar the relationship. So that is my suggestion. People can choose to disagree.
I,
And
I,
see,
I, I understand. I
yeah.
understand. I understand. A friend was here just recently
Mm,
crying about sending his brother-in-law money to buy a couple of taxis to do.
Taxi business. No way.
And now the brother-in-law is not even picking his call.
Of
And
course, what do you expect?
it has made him and the wife somewhere, and he was literally like, really sad. So like, I understand where you're coming from, but for like this friend whose mother had experience selling on by the roadside and just upgrading to make your mother, protect her from the weather, I think it's brilliant. And if you think you can support your mother, even let's say even expand the business, I think it's okay. And like I'm all for let them know what to expect. Don't let them, there's some people who also want to feel big and then will overdo some things. Those people, they really shock me.
This conversation is already getting long, but exciting.
Yeah.
Let us wrap up. I think what a few things I can say before we wrap up also is that people in the diaspora need to recognize that we have a lot more to give except money. You see, sometimes people think that like all they can give is money. No, sometimes, and people back home also sometimes make demands, and it's all about money. Their friends have helped review their scholarship applications, and they've got scholarship, and sometimes that is worth a lot more than I could give you whether £100 or something. That is worth a lot more. And there are other people that have made recommendations to that. Oh, actually, speak to this person, and because of that, they got a job, or I spoke about their business elsewhere, and a lot of people are buying their stuff. So I think it's for diasporans to recognize that there's a lot more you can give, or even people back home to us, that there's a lot more you can ask X than money. I mean, between the two of us, we're fairly good friends, but we really don't ask ourselves money.
Hey,
in fact,
you ask a rich man like you ask me for money.
No, come on, no, Charlie, everybody needs.
Hey, a whole professor. Hey,
no, but I mean, I would rather, I appreciate this time that you are giving me. So we can give our time. That is the point I'm making. I would appreciate Nanelle giving me her time than than even money. So I think we ought to recognize that, and people back home can also give back to people back here. You see, it's not always about we giving. See, there's this friend of mine. I help her quite. I don't even help her with money wise. I mean, I'll shop for her, she'll pay, and then send it to her, that kind of thing. One time she just sent me like 3 kaftans, clothes. I was like, whoa, there's somebody who also thinks about you. There's this new shitter, the Ghanaian shitter in containers, sometimes it's nice. People back here too, we also need help. I think that's the point. It's not always me giving. It feels good when sometimes somebody sends you, a little gift that, take this person. It shows that you're also thinking about them. In conclusion, the airplane scenario, trying to help those you can, make sure that it fits your budget. If you've not seen my budgeting tool and you need an example that, I'm happy to share it with you. But while at it, I'll really appreciate it if you can subscribe to this channel, and we'll try to bring you the very best of the best. And based on our experiences, well, I don't know if you've got any concluding thoughts.
The final thing I'll say is that if you do not help yourself first and then you keep helping other people, many years down the line, probably when you retire, you want to go home and then you have nothing to write home about. I see so many situations or the life of other people where their tables turn and then they were doing better at one point in their lives, and then now they are begging or they are heavily reliant on other people. Anything can happen. And then now they'll be pointing fingers at you to say you did not do anything with your life. You traveled abroad and yet you have nothing to show for it. So you don't want that to be your story. Secure yourself first. I mean, save, get a property here, invest, get a good is it retirement, whatever. You can contribute to your own retirement as well. Establish yourself. I mean, So before you think of some of these other things, so that is not your story in the future.
Well, I hope there's a lot of lessons to share, and it would be nice for people to also share their own experiences of black tax, of how they themselves have benefited or helped other people that they are proud of. Of course, I hope this conversation has been useful, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless, and thank you, Nanelle.
Thank you.